Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Brothers and sisters all over the world. Habari za Sabui, Habari za Mchana, Habari za Jioni. Brothers and sisters all over the world. Okay, hey everybody. I am talking to each and every one of you all over the world. The name of this channel is The African Times. And I'm Thomas. Okay, everybody. We're going to start today with the program, a broadcast that we're going to be doing every day, The Rise and Shine.
And me and Thomas were
African Times, The Rise and Shine. What I'm going to do
Mommy, talking in front of
every morning, I'm going to have a little talk with you. Talk to you about some things that affect our lives. And mostly it's going to be a variety of subjects. And these subjects will all have an economic background, an economic foundation. We're going to look at a variety of subjects, but we're always going to see how that particular subject impacts us economically. And the reason we're going to look at it economically is because economics affects all of our lives. And it's our problem economically that's preventing us from being able to find freedom. And there are going to be some very serious things that we have to talk about dealing with that. So today I'm going to try to explain to you a little bit about what I face having to talk to you about it, economics, and how serious it is to talk about it as an African brother. And so we're going to talk about a few of those things. Now, in the background, you see some activity taking place. I'm here at home, and the kids are working out or playing. The wife is working out, she's exercising, and I'm doing this video, so you're going to hear some things. But I do want to talk to you a little bit about the rise and shine. So every morning we're going to have a subject. Now today, we're just going to talk about economics in general to give you an understanding of how economics affects all of our areas of people activity, our lives. So let's look at something. Let's first talk about economics. Economics is not some abstract concept that you can't put your hands on. It's not solid. It's not something that is just an idea. No, it's all of those things. It is a concept, an idea, an outlook, a philosophy, approach, but it's also concrete. It's tangible. You can grab it. You can feel it. So let me give you a couple examples. We as African people, we face a big problem. We face a problem with a group of people who are operating an economic system that's designed to dominate us. It's designed to maintain control for the dominators. We are the dominated. The dominators, the people who seek to control you for their own benefit and gain, put a system in place economically because they know economically everything in our lives come back to economics. So let me give you an example. You might say going out and getting you a house and you got a tub and you have a sink, you have cups and glasses, and you have plumbing, because you're building a house, so you need those things. So let me explain to you. Now, all of those are forms of economic activity. The house is a big house, okay? But remember, The house is a big house. So why is it economic activity and how can it affect you and dominate you? Now this is just an example. Okay, the house has to be built, which means economic activity. To build the house, you didn't build it. Most of you don't build your own house. But let's assume you did because you buy into the capitalist view of individualism. You can't build a house individually in today's society. You can't do it. Now, in very extreme cases, maybe, but not really. And I'm going to show you why. So you start building a house, right? All right. You got to have some bricks. Well, who makes the bricks? You don't make them. But let's assume you did make them. If you, hold on everybody, I hate when that happens. I'm gonna have to edit that out. So okay. So remember, we're talking about building a house. So you gotta have bricks. All right? You don't manufacture the bricks, somebody else manufactures them. A plant, somebody who's getting the sand, mixing it with the mortar, what have you, to make the brick. Remember, you gotta go to somebody. That means you no longer are an individual making your house. You're going to somebody else. That's a human economic activity, a transaction. You have to go to them, you give them some money, they give you the bricks, right? That's economic. That's what it means. It's tangible, it's real. You needed the bricks, somebody made the bricks. You gave them some money, they gave you the bricks, okay? They could not make the bricks themselves. They needed somebody else to go dig up the dirt, to bring it to the plant. They needed somebody to build the plant. Do you understand? So every aspect of everything that you do has some interaction. You're not an individual. You're not an individual. You had to work with someone. Excuse me, guys. Eyes itchy. You had to work with someone to create, to build, to develop. And that happens in every aspect of your life. We just gave you an example of a house with the bricks. But the plumbing, somebody's got to make the plumbing, whether you use copper, plastic, somebody's manufacturing it, they're digging it out of the ground to get the raw materials. That's a group of people. Somebody organized those group of people into a workforce, a labor force that can go in and get the raw materials and build them. If you understand what I'm saying, you see now that economics is just very simple. It's anything that you do that involves interacting, relating to other human beings to accomplish whatever goal you're trying to accomplish. Now, this is very important for us to understand because we got a group of people out here who don't explain this to you, who don't talk to you about this. They talk to you about everything else other than this so that you don't think about it and don't focus on it. And then they give you these high ideals as if economics is some kind of, complicated, abstract thing. No. If you buy an ice cream, that's an economic activity. You buy an ice cream cone, okay. Somebody had to get the sugar together. Somebody had to get the heat to make the cone. Somebody had to organize the labor force to come together to get the heat to make the cone. Do you understand? Now that means somebody has to have some accounting. You got to have an accountant. Somebody's got to make the pencil, the paperwork that he's using, the computer, the plug, the AC outlet. Then you got to wire it. Do you understand? These are all economic activities. The reason I'm taking this time to explain to you the rise and shine is in order for us as a people to rise and then shine, we have to begin to think economically. All the activities that we engage in as people, as human beings, have an economic benefit, an economic impact on our lives. So when we understand that and we begin to think about those things, then we can also now determine the economic activity we wish to engage in. We can then determine the benefit of that economic activity, the benefit for our children, for our future, for our posterity. So now, I'm just going to recap. I just gave you an idea, a couple of things. If you build a house, right? You build a house, you need materials, bricks, glass, plastic, wood, to build your cabinets, for your plumbing, your piping, your sinks, whether it's copper, iron, steel, whatever you're going to use, aluminum, it doesn't matter. You need roofing materials, shingles, air conditioning. All of those things mean manufacturing. And those are economic activities. You can't do it all as an individual. You don't do that. You relate to other individuals who have the skill to do it. That's relationships. That's why they keep us not trusting each other, not willing to work together, not come together. Because if you destroy the relationship between the individuals and they don't want to work together, then they can't think economically and build to rise and then shine. You understand? Similar to what China is doing. China didn't do this on their own. Don't be confused. The United States didn't do it on their own. Don't be confused. Britain, France, Portugal, Spain, Belgium, Germany, all of these places, Italy, all of them, they didn't do it on their own. No, they related to one another economically. And where they had shared goals, shared interests, they worked together on that to make that happen. Now, we as a black people, African people, we can do that too. All we have to do is get rid of, and it's simple, it's not hard. All we have to do is get rid of the contamination that they put in our minds. The contamination, the negativity that we have when we look at each other and we think we can't trust each other, which is foolishness. We can work together. We do work together. But again, we got a group of people who have removed from us our natural thinking and then instituted their thinking, which their thinking is they don't like us. It is what it is. They don't like us. For whatever reason, it doesn't even matter. You don't have time to spend thinking about that. Who cares why they don't like you? They don't like you. We ain't got time to deal with that anyway. What we have to do is be building. And that means coming together economically and talking about it economically. All the conversations we have should be economic. What benefit is it going to have for us? What benefit is it going to have for our children? And how are we going to protect our economic activity and survival from those people who don't want to see us prosper economically? Okay, so you have to understand, I'm going to talk about it, and I told you at the beginning of this broadcast that I'm going to share with you some important things about why I'm talking about it. And so let me kind of go into that for a second. All right, listen. From what I've been able to see, reading, researching, listening to lectures, looking at life, and just life in general, you know, being from, you know, W-Land, you know, growing up there are a few brothers, few strong brothers who, they spoke economics. They talked about it. It seems that when those people tend to talk about that, particularly those people who write books, explaining what's happening to us economically, business-wise, and there's some political, it's all political. And what I mean by political, I mean the groups of people are organized, the groups of people who are harming us, who are doing bad things to us. They're organized, and you can see their organization through their institutions, political institutions, religious institutions, social institutions, financial institutions, educational institutions, military institutions. Do you understand? They're organized. They're relating to one another in that way. And then whenever we start talking about, okay, we need to relate to each other in that way, then you get a group of people, that same group of people I just talked to you about, coming up telling us, well, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to organize like that? We're all one people. No, we all should be together. We all love each other. It's all, you know, multiculturalism and togetherness and love and, ooh, let's be together. You shouldn't be thinking about yourself first. What about us? Now, that's very strange when you look at the us they're talking about. The only thing they mean by us is as long as they're in control, as long as we're following their ideology, their concepts, their beliefs, and their way of doing things, then we can all be together because they told us. Remember that situation, New World Order? Remember that? You heard it. And that's still going around now. Now they're saying there's a new world order. There's a new social order being determined by China. Okay? All of that, don't get confused in all that. It really doesn't matter. All it really means is that there's a group of people who are in control. And those group of people tell you what you should or should not be doing based on what they want to accomplish for themselves. Now, what I'm saying to you, this is not difficult. But what I'm saying to you is I'm going to talk about these things. And I hope that you go out and tell everybody. This is very important. You tell everybody what I'm talking about, because subscribe, like, share, all of that. When you tell the people these things economically, some people don't like that. They don't like that. And then they do something about it because they're organized in such a way that they can. Remember, I told you, political, religious, educational, and military, just to name a few. Military doesn't not only mean some big army. Doesn't only mean that. Militarily also means individuals. You can hire individuals who can do harm to other people. That's still a military tactic. It's all militarily organized to protect their power and control. So if I'm going to stand up here and say these things and talk economically, and I have a book too, it's coming. I think I'm probably about 20% in, 25% done. I had to get away so I could get some time to write it. But anyway, sorry about you. You're going to hear something in the background. They're talking, but you can hear me. So what I'm saying to you, I'm going to talk economically. And I'm going to do it because my children's future is at stake. And I told you in previous videos that the African children of the world, not just here in the motherland continent, not here, but all over the world, those children are my children. They're your children. Men, brothers, kakas. They're our children. And we have a responsibility to make sure that their future is not one that is one of enslavement, one of being dominated, one where they can have the opportunity to be free, uhuru, to be free, to be able to enjoy and prosper and have peace. Because the people who right now are in control, they don't look like me and you. Those people have a different plan in their order, their social order, their world order. They have a different plan for us and what our position is. It don't have to stay that way. And we gonna let me tell you something. Let me be clear to you. There are other people not like me, not only like me, and I'm not no great person. I don't want you to understand it, but I'm telling you, there are other people with courage, strength, who gonna say what needs to be said. We've had them, but they end up trying to kill them. They get rid of them. All right, so to give you an example. Remember, we're talking about rising and shining. Rising. China, I think they had something called the rising sun. And not that China's great. I respect those people. They're wonderful people. I don't have anything to do with them. I don't really care about anybody but African people in the sense that we must get control of our economic and financial and security. We have to do that. So if we are looking at the security of our children, we have to say the things that need to be said on record. So in books too, not just video, but in books, so that our children can look back on this and have a record and know, hey, look, this is what was going on. This is what we got to do. So again, I told you, just sit back talking about things, just talking about it, not really doing anything, just talking about it, what they're doing to us and how they're doing it. No, we got to talk about how we're going to solve it. Now, that's what I'm saying. When I come and I'm going to talk about solutions, when I do that, think about people who tried to solve some things. Some brothers. You know, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, other brothers, Marcus Garvey. These are the ones that are more popular where we are, that we kind of know about. But there are brothers here too, in the motherland, that tried to do some, I think Patrice Lumumba, and a few others, Kwame Nkrumah, I think is his name, and there's some others. We don't get these brothers. They don't put these brothers in front of us to tell us what these brothers are doing. What they do is they put the people in front of us who they killed. They killed. And they do that in such a way so that if you aren't careful, you'll get a thought in your mind that if I speak out, if I say something, they're gonna do that to me too. Now, that is a problem. But remember, what are we talking about? Solving problems. Yeah, we're entitled to solve our own problems. Yeah, that means you have to prevent someone from being able to do that. And this is the part for me that's kind of like, I have decisions to make because I have children, I have a family. But do I not say what needs to be said? Because I'm a man, and I, I'm not really afraid like that. What my concern is, I'm not concerned about dying. What my concern is if I leave here, even just on natural causes, I want my children to be okay. I want my wife and family to be okay. You understand? So it's a very, very serious thing. I was talking to a friend of mine and I was asking him, okay, man, this is the decision I make. Do I not talk or do I talk? And then the other thing is, if I'm willing to try to organize and create some kind of organization, institution, business, or what have you, that could employ large numbers of people, because that's economic activity, create and manufacture and build something so that our people have hundreds of thousands of jobs. And if I'm the only one willing to say it, willing to do it, and not that I'm the only one, I'm just giving you an example, but if I'm the only one to do it in this example, if I'm the only one, then I have to make a decision. Do I talk about what needs to be done, and then, okay, the people come and they do something to me, because they could kill you, that's number one, but they can also give you economic death, financial death, which means they prevent your ability to earn money. You hear these terms going around, sanctions and all of these kinds of things that really mean they're going to interfere with your ability to be able to function. This is why I'm talking to you about that this morning, because these are decisions that I have to make about my life, because it's very serious stuff. It's very serious. So, guys, I just want you to understand that Rise and Shine, in the morning, I'm going to be talking about it. It's going to be economic, because we have to do it. There's no other way. And I need my children, and remember I told you, when I say children, I'm talking about the children, all of the African children around this earth. I need them to understand, even if they only see me, even if I don't do anything else but give out the information, which I hope I'm able to do more. But if that's all I'm able to do, they need to be able to look at it and know we got this problem, and here's how we got to solve it. So the economic activity I'm going to talk about, and whatever it means, hang in there with me. Like and subscribe, because that's a way to help me. I have to be careful, because you got to be careful what you say, because if they take you off the social media, then you can't really say anything. You're not getting the message out. The newspapers, they're dying. Newspapers, books, and magazines, they're dying. So that means of communicating with people is becoming limited. And then they've taught our people not to read. So we got so many of our brothers and sisters who they don't want to read. They just want to look at the phone. They just want to listen. Their mind is not disciplined and trained enough to be able to focus on reading and writing, which is very dangerous, because we're being dominated by people who they do a good job of that. They have policies. You all live in governmental places. When you get time, look up their government regulations. There's a government regulation for every activity that people engage in. And when a new activity arises, a new technology, a new something, then they create another set of policy to control it, which means they're controlling you and me. Do you understand? So, again, rise and shine. Rise and shine. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the economics of it. And I'm going to release the book, and it's going to have practical discussions about things that we need to do to develop our economic prosperity and security for our children. So I just want my children and my family to be okay. And hopefully this time this time in our lives. 'Cause I'm just a little bitty brother here. But this time, at this time, unlike the 60s and the 30s and 20s, when us brothers and sisters in the States and throughout the world were facing very, very difficult challenges from these people. So now hopefully the climate is such that we're able to get these messages out to people. People can understand the importance of it, and then they can start acting. All right? So remember, just to kind of recap, rise and shine. We're going to rise through economic activity. Once we get the economic activity in place, functioning, operating, and we understand it, and we have these conversations, then you'll see us shining all over the globe. Okay? Now, that was a recap on Rise and Shine, just to kind of let you know economic activity is economic. It's no mystery. It's no crazy concept. It's simply people relating to one another. People relating to one another. Engaging in all areas of activity that involves kind of business. And that business is personal. It's real simple. Even if you wanted somebody to come over because you want to have a birthday party for your children. Well, you want to have the bounce house and you want to have the cake. And so you don't do all those things. So you call somebody up. Well, that's economic activity. Well, somebody's got to bake the cake. Somebody's got to get the sugar. Somebody's got to get the flour. Somebody's got to get the eggs. Somebody's got to get the oil. You understand? Then you want to put it in a cupcake. You got to make the cupcake holder. You got to have the spoon, the spurt to turn the batter. Well, each one of those things has to be manufactured and produced. So if you put your mind in it, okay, we need to make that, manufacture and produce it, and communicate to our people that this is what we need to build. Now you're creating jobs. And you control the job, how long you work, how much you get paid. Do you understand? Economic activity. But again, all they want us focusing on is jumping and playing basketball and running and doing movies and singing and rapping. And this is what they want us thinking about. Not what we need to do to create the economic activity necessary for us to prosper as a people. And that's why I'm telling you, we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to write a book about it. I'm going to be strong. And I want you to join me. Because I told you in a previous video, sitting around talking about nothing stuff every day, just shooting stuff, because you got a job. Those of us who are employed with good jobs, and we think it's okay while everybody else suffer and poor. No, that's capitalism, individualism, telling you you're okay while the vast majority of you suffer and struggle. Let me just tell you one other thing, and then I'm going to let you go. Listen carefully. See, I have an African consciousness, an African identity. I know now who I am. I didn't know in the beginning, but I know now. I know what my purpose is as a man. So let me give you an example of identity. You have the Olympics, right? Everybody's familiar with the Olympics. You know what it is. The Olympics, every year you go there and all the countries go and they compete together and you got them. Then they count who got the most gold medals and who has the most silver medals. Remember that? Okay. So when you do that, you have a bunch of African brothers and sisters who participate in the track and field, the main thing, the track and field. And it's the main thing because you running and you jumping and you sprinting to see the fastest man on earth. Remember? Fastest man, Usain Bolt, and back when I was there, Carl Lewis. You see all these people, right? Okay. Now, in America, where I'm from, all these African brothers and sisters, America at the end of the Olympics, they count all these gold medals, and all these people stand up there who won all these medals. They're doing it for the United States. These African people. Now, if you remove the African people from the United States Olympic medal count, the United States is not dominating because the African man and woman are the people who won all the medals. And if they had their mind, their right identity, their consciousness, they would say, well, I don't know where I'm from because, like me, my last name, I don't know my real last name. I don't know where I'm from. That's just the truth. If those people were in their right mind, like I wasn't in my right mind for many, many years, then they would say, you know what? That's cool. I don't have to know, but I'm going to pick an African nation from the continent of Africa, and I'm going to say that's where I'm from. And I'm going to contact those people and say, listen, I want to represent you in the Olympics because that's where I'm from and that's my people. And we are one, no matter where we are. And then you win the gold medal for them, you see. Not for holding up the W Stars and Stripes. Or the UK, whatever their flag is. Or whatever W flag you want to hold up and be proud of and feel good about. Why you can't be proud and feel good about all of the African flags? The African Union, they got a flag too. Maybe you don't even know about the African Union. I didn't know about it. But my whole point is it doesn't matter. Represent you and your people first, just like they represent theirs first. And not that they're the example, and we're going to talk about that. They're not the example. You stop imitating. We have to stop imitating people who they really don't have a track record that you would want to imitate. They put across this image that us brothers and sisters, particularly the brothers, violent, drug trafficking, thugs, proud to be a gangster, they put that image up. Who do you think have murdered and killed more people on this planet? Are you really paying attention? Are you really understanding? The 100-Year War. You ever heard of that? I know you heard of World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, Spanish-American War. Do you understand? War. In other words, killing millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions of people. And these are the people you want to imitate? Now, this is not me. I didn't do it. I didn't make the history of it. It's not me. And then the people want to get upset because we tell them about what they did? Come on now. Come on. So anyway, now I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Because we have to. All right? So look, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I just want to introduce you guys to kind of what we're going to be talking about in the morning. Today, we didn't really have a subject other than to introduce to you Rise and Shine with the African Times. And we're going to talk about it, okay? So like, subscribe, tell people, please, and listen and think about what I'm saying. You don't have to agree with anything I'm saying. You don't have to do that. But the one thing we have to understand is men and women and brothers and sisters. And we are one people, one family. I don't have time. I'm not going through all that confusion about where you from, who you from, what group you with. I'm not doing that. You can do it. And if you don't want to join in, that's fine. Maybe later you can join in. We can all be together later. Let's not interfere with what must be done to protect our children. Don't be against us. And I know I told you that last time, but this is very, very important to understand. The people who tell us we're all together and that we should love each other and not have our own personal self-interest first, Kwanzaa, those people will have you join their military. They will have you join their military and go out and fight and kill other people. Other people that they tell you you're doing that in the name of whatever they say. It's in the name of freedom, the same story they always tell, So they tell you to do that, and you go out and do it. All right? Now, you, them, all y'all together, different people. Then they will tell you to go fight and kill your own people. Your own people now. And you would do that. It's difficult. That's rough. That's rough. Because if you ask them to go do that for you, they're not getting ready to do that. They're not getting ready to do that. They're going to look at you like you're a fool. You understand? So, okay. Okay, guys. All right. I love you all. I hope you understand it. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I hope it makes some sense to you. And let's be together. Let's be together. And let's change this situation. spend every waking hour, every moment of our lives to change it. Okay? You understand? I can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. We are together, united. And when we're united, we're unbreakable. And when we're unbreakable, and when we're united, we're unstoppable. Okay? Economics. Economics. We got to talk about it. Got to talk about it. I love you guys. Uhuru. Uhuru. Uhuru.